Kia ora, and welcome to the Master of Urban Planning Professional webinar at the University of Auckland. My name is Dr. Iresh Jayawardena. I'm a senior lecturer and the Deputy Head of Urban Planning. Before joining the University of Auckland as an urban planning academic, I had worked as a practicing planner in New Zealand and a lecturer in Sri Lanka. I'm also a full member of the New Zealand Planning Institute. My research and practice advances climate-resilient urban futures by integrating socio-ecological system thinking, risk perception, and planning practice to bridge the gap between policy ambition and on-the-ground implementation. Today in this webinar, I have a pleasure of joining Bethany Park. Bethany, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, thanks Irish. I'm Bethany and I'm currently going through the program as you mentioned, and I'm due to finish at the end of this year. My background is in a Bachelor of Science, so I did biology and psychology for my undergraduate degree before landing a role in the Auckland Transport graduate program, which I was very fortunate to. And I did that for about a year before deciding to pursue the master's program. Yeah. And I've been working as a planner for the last 3 years.
Thank you, Bethany. The structure of the webinar will be simple. We will discuss key information about the course, and then we will hear more from Bethany about her postgraduate experience. Master of Urban Planning Professional is designed for individuals seeking to engage critically and professionally with the challenges of contemporary urban development. It is particularly suited to graduates from related disciplines such as geography, environmental science, engineering, architecture, economics, or policy, and so on, who wish to transition into planning practice. Our master's program also appeals to graduates from other disciplines, which is the really interesting thing about our master's program. So we get students from a wide variety of backgrounds, including the arts and humanities, law, landscape architecture, music, and the visual arts, and so on. It is important to note that the program also offers a combined degree opportunity with those who study architecture and urban design. Bethany, I would like to ask you about what was your undergraduate degree and what disciplines did your classmate in the program come from?
So my background was the Bachelor of Science in Biological Sciences and Psychology. And I sort of took quite an interest to urban planning with a capstone course that I did. And so I focused on the biology of built-up spaces. And so that was looking at green space allocation across Auckland and the benefits of those. So I think that's sort of what sparked my interest there. And that sort of led me to pursue the graduate program at Auckland Transport. And in terms of my peers, I think, yeah, definitely a wide variety there. I know landscape architecture is a big one, but I also know someone came from a background in archaeology as well as geography.
Yeah, we also have an opera singer this year in the program as well, so yes. The program aims to develop planning professionals who are capable of leading in an increasingly uncertain and interdisciplinary urban future. The program is a professional master's degree with 240 points. Full-time study will take 2 years and part-time varies, but is not available for international students. The program is designed to integrate taught coursework, practical studio-based pedagogy, and a research dissertation. The program is intentionally structured to facilitate interaction with practicing professionals, embedding real-world relevance throughout the learning experience. Our program is also accredited by the New Zealand Planning Institute. The program is grounded in urban planning scholarship while maintaining a strong orientation toward practical application. Students critically engage with both Aotearoa, New Zealand, and international planning case studies, enabling comparative and globally relevant insights. The inclusion of Maori planning issues reflects a commitment to place-based, culturally responsive planning, positioning our graduates to engage meaningfully with Indigenous knowledge systems and governance frameworks. The program aligns with professional competencies required for planning practice in both Aotearoa, New Zealand, and globally relevant urban planning practice. Graduates are prepared for diverse roles across the urban planning ecosystem, and this includes local and regional government planning, central government policy and strategy roles, private planning and consultancy firms, urban design and development sectors, community organizations, NGOs, and EV authorities, and so on. For those seeking to advance into research, academia, or policy leadership roles, further study can take you to a PhD. The School of Architecture and Planning is located in the Auckland City campus. Students may also access to a range of university-wide postgraduate scholarships and externally funded scholarships and awards. Before we dive into Bethany's experience, it is worth noting that while Bethany will share her personal journey, students in this program come from very different backgrounds and often go on to quite diverse roles across the industry. Bethany, I would like to go back to your bachelor's in biology and psychology, and then also come back to think about what you're studying right now as Master of Urban Planning Professional. Why did you choose to study Master of Urban Planning Professional, and why University of Auckland?
Thanks, Irish. I suppose my case was quite unique, which I also think is a good reflection of the program. As I mentioned, coming out of university for my undergraduate degree, I was fortunate to get a graduate role with Auckland Transport, and that was a planning position. And so it was quite unique to be able to technically be a practicing planner, but not having done, the relevant degree or discipline. And so I kind of always had it at the back of my mind that it would be something that I'd like to pursue. And speaking on that with lots of my colleagues, they said it would probably be a good idea, both for employability reasons, but also just to have that good theory behind me that would sort of flow in to my work life. And then I think one of the biggest things for me in choosing the University of Auckland and this degree in particular is that it is NZPI accredited. So that allows me to have more of a streamlined pathway to a full membership, as opposed to, joining as an associate, having a different degree.
Mm-hmm. Bethany, did you have any hesitations about extending or coming back to the degree?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the biggest questions for me, is it worth it? Is it necessary? I've technically already got a role. As mentioned, working full time, that's a really big commitment to do outside of that. But my thinking was that the time will pass anyway. That was a big driver for me. In addition to speaking with my colleagues, work has been very supportive of it. We're fortunate enough to get study leave. So during those busy times during uni, work's been very, very accommodating. And so that was also a big driver for me as well, knowing that I've got that support backing me.
How have you seen your classmates use the degree?
I've definitely seen them using it in a variety of ways. As you mentioned, they've got the combined degree that they can do with urban design as well as architecture. And so I've kind of found that majority of them are taking on that opportunity. And so lots of them are doing that dual degree. And so not only am I exposed to people doing planning, but also the other disciplines as well, which has been quite useful because we do get sort of exposed to urban design aspects of planning. And so being able to lean on those peers has been really beneficial for me as well.
Do you think this degree have helped you professionally or academically?
Yeah, it's been really beneficial. I think the work that I do within the university definitely transfers into the work that I'm doing in the workplace. And also vice versa. I think, it's taught me to be very principled with my approaches, which I think arguably we need more of in the urban planning industry. So learning how to be objective, really making evidence-based decisions. And so being able to bring that into discussions in the workplace, and it's been welcomed. So that's been very positive aspect. And then, the group work, heaps and heaps of group work, which is great. I think as an urban planner, you're constantly going to be exposed to engaging not only with your peers, but with the public. I think the breadth of projects that you get to work on, and that has been really helpful.
Okay, no, that's very good. I mean, the way we have designed our planning program is, as I talked about in the webinar, that we have both lectured content, like pretty much 50% of the program is based on lectured content, and we have 50% of the program is actually based in studio-based content, which is the idea is to bring that real-world experience into the classroom. It's really helpful for having students who doesn't have the planning experience. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think that's been probably a really good move for the program. I think having that studio-based papers to support, I guess, your theory that you're learning. And I just sort of view it as an application of what we've been learning. And so for me, the standout studio paper I took was actually your course, and that was the Wicked Problem Studio.
That's right.
So looking at a particular local board area, and with that we looked at the Henderson Massey local board, and sort of doing a study on what are the opportunities and constraints for this area with regard to climate change, looking at the risks, how we'd sort of propose solutions for those risks, but then also what are the consequences of those solutions. So you're really getting down to, I guess, the root causes for issues, but also being conscious that your solutions don't then themselves also have flow-on effects. And I think that's, planning through and through. And so with that, that was heavily facilitated by group work. And so I think for a student coming into that and not having that background, I'd say that that's a really beneficial course, teaching you how to work with other people, how to sort of present your ideas, but then also how to give constructive feedback. So I'd say definitely a good move.
I understand that you're coming to do your research in the second semester of the degree. Are you excited about your research project? Are you thinking about that right now?
Yeah, I've got a real particular interest in the special housing areas, particularly how that was implemented across Auckland. And so from my understanding, those were sort of brought in to address housing shortages, but also provide affordable housing. And so I guess looking at it at face value, that's a really good initiative. But in terms of how it actually worked out, I'm quite keen on doing a review of the successes and the lessons learnt. I understand there are lots of development happening around Auckland that have been consented a long time ago, but they still haven't actually implemented the affordable housing aspect, and they've kept deferring it. And so that's just an interesting, I guess, outcome that I'm interested to dig in to a little bit more. But also with the floor planning, in terms of a lot of these areas didn't have a structure plan to precede them. And so that sort of led to a lot of sort of unplanned growth that we're sort of having to retrofit to. And so, really keen to get stuck into that. And so I think, doing a research project, being able to sort of utilize everything that I've learnt across the degree, especially sort of that principled way of thinking and sort of not jumping to conclusions, I think will really help my case.
Oh, that's fascinating. Do you think for those who are not working in the profession at the moment, this course is going to be a very helpful program for them?
I think it would definitely help. I've always sort of said to my colleagues, I feel like a bit of a fraud because, I'm here and I'm practicing and I'm in the field, but I haven't had that, I guess, academic experience. My colleagues have been really supportive, especially sort of more senior leaders and senior management. They see that would be a good step for me to take, to sort of look at those more senior opportunities. And in terms of my peers, I know lots of them have been fortunate enough to land graduate roles as well as casual positions since undertaking the program. So I think, for already being employed, but also new people coming into the field, I think it helps us all.
I know you are working full-time and studying part-time. And how do you balance, these two roles in your life?
I think it's really fortunate that a lot of the lectures are available to us online. And so unfortunately, that means you're not going to be seeing my face at many of the lectures. I will be watching those at home outside of work hours. But I am fortunate enough that my work allows me to prioritise attending the studio classes in person. And so I guess we've got a certain amount of allocated hours that we can take to be able to use, I guess, for study leave. And I guess it also goes vice versa as well. I think when I've told lecturers, hey, like I am working, unfortunately, you might not see that much of me. They've also sort of met it with quite a lot of enthusiasm, I've found. Like they've been saying, wow, isn't that such a great opportunity for your learning to be working and studying at the same time? Like, I think, being able to make those, I guess, connections between the working world and the academic world. Also professionally too. I know lots of lecturers are also working in the field, and so I've been able to, I guess, make professional connections as well.
Yeah, thank you. I think since we have quite a heavy studio component, there is a expectation that students will have to come to studio classes because that is where you engage with these real world complex issues and also get to work with your peers. So we anticipate attendance in the group studio sessions, but of course lectures are pretty much recorded. So if you miss a lecture, there's the opportunity for you to pre-watch it and and then sort of attend the class. Okay, so since you are already working and using some of your skills and the knowledge that you are gathering from the program into your practice, how do you think this program is preparing you to be able to deal or face with those challenges, to be able to come to solutions?
Yeah, I think the principled and pragmatic approach of the degree is definitely going to flow through into how I continue to evolve and practice as a planner. But with that, I think the studios and I guess just the culture of the program itself was very encouraging of sort of that blue sky thinking. And so you can really have the freedom to explore and test ideas and sort of go a bit crazy, which is great. You sort of don't get that often in the real working world. And so I guess being able to do that is quite liberating in a way. And then I guess being able to ground that and being able to communicate sort of those ideas both to your peers, but also to, I guess, the general public in our case, for the studios that we're working on. And so, I think being able to communicate sort of that blue sky thinking is really important. It's all good to have these ideas, but how are we actually, showing how we've thought about things? What was the process of gathering our evidence, and why are we going down the pathways that we've decided to go down? And so I think it's not so much about presenting this gorgeous, beautiful idea, but it's about taking people on that journey and sort of how you got there. And so I think for me, that's going to be sort of the key takeaway about how I'm able to take people on the journey.
Thank you, Bethany. I think that's the beauty of the program itself, because as we know that a student can enter into the program, with different disciplinary backgrounds. You don't need to have a prior experience of anything to do with planning. But ultimately, once you complete the program, you become this more creative, more critical thinker that actually can build your confidence and your understanding about different complex issues of our city's experience, and then develop that skill sets that be able to face those challenges. So I think you brought up really, really good experiences that you went through from the program, being a current student, and also reflecting from your professional experience. Thank you, Bethany. And thank you to everyone who attended today's webinar. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out through the Ask Auckland Online Support Center using the link provided in the description box. As you hear from this webinar, as well as hearing from Bethany, this program can benefit those from such a wide variety of undergraduate studies. If the program sounds like you, please join us.